Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good evening, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to the Pascal Show. So for those of y'all who don't know, what's going on, there is some breaking news that's going on right now as we speak. There's a lot going on right now, and this all has to do with America, okay? America. All right, we got a lot going on here. We have been dealing with 40 days of BS, okay? 40 days 40 nights, really, of just absolute BS that is now starting to, it looks like we're near the end. We have come to the end of the road, it's looking like. And this is pretty insane. Or actually, for now, we're at the end of the road. For now. Let me just say that really quick. Okay. But anyway, nonetheless, there's some really interesting things that are going on right now. I've been sitting on the sidelines, waiting, idly by, just waiting at the edge of my seat, waiting to hear if there's been any news or new updates in this whole government shutdown. You guys have been covering this quite a bit in a lot of YouTube shorts and reels and TikToks and all that. Every single time there's some sort of breaking news, I'm breaking it to you guys. So, of course, this does matter. This is a big deal. I don't know about y'all, but it's a big deal to me. Hence the reason why we're here so late on a Sunday night. Don't worry, we're not going to be here very, very long, okay? Because we all got work in the morning. We all got things to do. But I wanted to hop on here and give you guys some updates in regards to the shutdown and whether or not it is over or if it's not. We got some new updates. So do me a favor, okay? Before we get into everything, do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it, do what it do, hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms, please and thank you. All right, if you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. I'm on all of them. Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. Go ahead, follow if you can, but make sure you're subscribed here on my YouTube channel, right here. On my main channel. Go and check out Pascal Show Clips and Pascal Raw. Subscribe to those channels as well. Hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live on each channel or whenever I upload, because honestly, it's random, okay? Of course, hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com, all right? PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Okay, guys, we're going to get straight into this. We got to get straight into the meat and potatoes of everything very, very quickly, because there's been some things that have happened while I was setting things up and getting things ready. Okay, it looks like shutdown is over. But let me just say this really quick. I don't think it's making a lot of people happy. Yeah. Let me just say that. There's a lot of good things. There's a lot of benefits, obviously. There's a lot of good things about the government turning back on. They're flipping the switch back on. But then there's a lot of people that are upset about this because there's other things in the long term, like down the line, down the road, that they have not really addressed, and which is the origin story or the reason why the government shutdown even happened or is going on in the first doggone place. So some people are mad because, well, a good portion of people are mad because they feel like, damn it, the Democrats just caved like little wusses. Yeah, some people are very upset about this. Some people are mad at Chuck Schumer, basically saying, how could you spearhead and cave to the Democrats? The healthcare situation is a big deal, in my personal opinion. If it means that our healthcare prices are going to go up exponentially, we got a problem here, y'all. And all they're doing, and if you saw my short, I just did a YouTube short just about 30 minutes or so before this, but I didn't realize that they were going to come to some sort of agreement this quickly tonight. So that's why I'm live. But anyway, I said it's basically like putting duct tape on a leaky pipe while the house is still flooding, right? Man, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. I'm sorry, but it is. This isn't solving anything. They're just basically saying we'll get to it at some point. And you realize that by January 30th, we could be back in this situation all over again. And I basically feel like this is all happening solely because they know that we're walking into the most wonderful time of the year. You know, when everyone's getting on planes, when everyone's flying back and forth, right? Let's not forget families not being able to eat. I know some of y'all feel some type of way about that. But at the same time, there are people that are upset that they should have held out longer, fought this out, and not caved, as a lot of people are saying. They just caved. I don't know, guys. To me, I don't know if they were ever going to come to an agreement anytime soon. And us as people, the country, we're getting punished because two sides can't agree on something. That's terrible. I instantly think about the kids. I instantly think about families that are starving. Like, real talk, I mean, air travel is, that's terrible too, right? That's absolutely terrible. But what my main focus is making sure that people are able to eat, right? Oh, and people are able to do their jobs and get paid for their jobs. Think about that. Those things, those are the things that I'm focused on. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to see any planes falling from the sky. I got better things to do than see something like that. Okay? Real talk. But at the same time, it is pretty insane that we're dealing with all of this, and they held out for 40 days. And now it is we're going to table this for now, but we're going to get back to it in a couple months. And that we could be back in this BS all over again. Like I said, I don't have the answers for nothing. Okay. I'm not the man with the plan. Okay. I'm just a regular guy, just like everybody else, that just wants everyone to win. I want our country to win. I want us as people to win. I want all of us to be able to eat. I want all of us to not have any issues or problems of any sort if we can actually make that happen. Right. But this is interesting, to say the least. But real quick, before we go into some of these updates, let me just play this clip for you guys real quick, okay?
That is the nation's capital tonight, as the Senate has apparently reached a deal to reopen the government. A source familiar with the plan told Fox News Digital there are now enough Senate Democrats joining Republicans to break the filibuster and vote on that spending bill. Fox 9's Leon Purvis joins us live in the newsroom. And Leon, walk us through why the change and how it all played out.
Well, Randy, Republicans needed 7 Senate Democrats to end the filibuster. Tonight's vote puts Congress closer to reopening the government. This after 8 Democrats joined Republicans with a deal that would reopen the government. What that includes is the government will be funded through January 30th. Also, the spending bill reverses the firings of furloughed federal workers carried out by the Trump administration and ensures back pay.
Now, okay, one, it ensures back pay. So great news for all those federal workers that have been working for free and working on the free 9s. Okay, like great news. And Mississippi Girl, I'm going to get to that. Give me a second. I'm giving you guys a little bit of backstory before we jump into this whole thing. Okay, because there's a lot of updates that have been happening, and we're going to get to those updates. Okay, hold on. All right, but here's the thing. Great. They're going to get back pay. Okay. All the federal workers, all the FCC individuals, all that stuff. Okay. They are going to, or FAA, I'm sorry, FCC. But they're all going to get paid. They're all going to get their back pay and all that, which is fantastic. None of them have to go back. They don't have to go to do DoorDash no more. Okay, great news. But at the same time, like I said, this is putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Okay. Now, again, they will be funded through January and January 30th, and then they're going to go back on January 30th and have a powwow. And we could literally go back to a shutdown situation all over again. Like I said, it's kind of like a, hey guys, can we just like get the government back up and open and running again so we can so people can have a holly jolly holidays? That's basically what I'm getting. This is the vibe I'm getting. And like I said, there are people that are not happy about this result. Some people are like, nah, they should have stuck. They should have stood 10 toes down on this situation and fought. I leave that up to you guys. Okay. But let's continue. And we're going to hear in a little bit, like Klobuchar says something in here. I think Elizabeth Warren says something as well. Okay. So it's just crazy.
Now, let's not forget, this government shutdown started because Democrats wanted to extend the expiring Obamacare subsidies. Republicans wanted to keep the government open and vote on it on a later date. As part of the deal, Republicans agreed to hold a vote on extending health care subsidies by December. Keep in mind, not all Democrats are on board with this spending bill. Senators Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith both voted no. But Republicans have been negotiating with Democrats for this deal. If the government opens, that means people will be able to get their SNAP benefits. Federal workers will be paid again, and FAA flight cuts will go back to normal. After the Senate is done, it goes back to the House. Live in the Live Center, Leon Purvis, Fox 9.
All right, we'll watch it closely. Thank you, Leon. As Leon just mentioned, 2 Minnesota senators voting against the bipartisan bill tonight. In a statement, Senator Tina Smith says, I will not support this bill that completely fails to help Americans afford their health care. She goes on to claim Trump and Republicans more than doubled Americans' health care premiums. And Senator Amy Klobuchar making this statement tonight, I voted against the budget bill because it does not prevent health insurance premiums from doubling for so many Americans. The president and congressional Republicans should have come to the table to work with us to lower these costs. I'm committed to lowering health care costs and will do everything I can to get that done.
Now, again, you still got people that have been refusing to go with this deal. There are people out here that are saying hell to the no to this deal that suddenly came out of nowhere, right? I mean, I guess they've been trying to work this deal over the last couple days. And then now it's come to a head. Voting happened today. So let me get into this here. All right. Because this is very interesting. Hold on. So where's the start of this? My Lord. So this was updated. This is from New York Times. This was updated about 20 minutes ago, as you guys can see here. So it says, here's the latest. The Senate on Sunday night took the first step toward ending the longest shutdown in U.S. history after a group of Democrats broke their party's blockade and voted with Republicans to advance legislation to reopen the government. So the 60-40 vote paved the way for the spending agreement to begin making its way through Congress, where it would still need to be debated and passed by the Senate. Win approval in the House and signed by Trump to bring the shutdown to a close. Now, 8 senators in the Democratic caucus voted to advance the measure, which would fund most federal agencies through January, like we just heard, right? That indicated there were enough votes to end weeks of gridlock that has shuttered the government for 40 days, leaving hundreds of thousands of federal workers furloughed, millions of Americans at risk of losing food assistance, and millions more facing air travel disruptions. But the deal prompted a quick and fierce backlash among Democrats, many of whom were livid that their colleagues had backed down from the party's central demand in the shutdown fight, the extension of health insurance subsidies that are slated to expire at the end of the year, sending premiums soaring for millions of Americans. The compromise measure included a provision that many Democrats had sought to reverse layoffs of federal workers made during the shutdown. It also came with a commitment from Senator John Thune, Republican of South Dakota, and the majority leader to allow a vote in December on extending the expiring health insurance tax credits for a year. Many Democrats have said for weeks that such a pledge would be insufficient to win them over. Since such a bill has appeared, all but certain to die in the Republican-led Congress. Now, of course, there's more to this. We're gonna jump ahead a little bit to some more recent updates, but this is all very, very interesting. And we're gonna go a little bit here an hour ago. So this is of the seven Democrats and one independent who voted yes tonight. Two senators, Dick Durbin of Illinois and Gene Sheehan of North New Hampshire, are retiring. So the remaining six are not up for re-election until at least 2028. Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania and others, are up in 2028, while Senators Kaine of Virginia, Rosen of Nevada, and King, the independent from Maine, who caucuses with Democrats, are up in 2030. Hold on. So blah, blah, blah. They have not voted yet. Let me go back a little bit more recent. So the pace of Senate votes can often be, to put it politely, deliberative. So it is not uncommon for a vote slated for 15 minutes to stretch 45 minutes or more. We've been waiting for close to 2 hours so far, and we're expected to be waiting a bit longer. The last senator left to vote was John Cornyn of Texas, and he's on his way back to the Capitol from Dooley's International Airport. That was 50 minutes ago. So he had arrived to cheers in the chamber, and then he voted. The Senate voted 60-40 to advance consideration of the spending measure. So 12 minutes ago, members of the House of Representatives, which has been out of session since September 19th, were told that they should expect votes on a funding measure this week. In notices sent by Democratic and Republican whips, lawmakers were told to expect 36 hours notice ahead of a vote. This is what we have so far. So again, this is very, very interesting. Hold on. We're going to go over to, where is it? Yeah, so they're basically saying that the shutdown is expected to end this week. If everything goes according to plan, after this whole vote, they're expecting the doors will be open. The lights will turn back on this week. Okay? Now, I know I've been seeing a lot of things. Hold on. I've been seeing a lot of things, a lot of people pissed. Okay? A lot of people mad about the outcome of this. I say, hold on. Let's check this out. This is like the last few minutes of this whole thing. Do they speak? Sorry, guys. Let me let you guys see this too. Hold on.
Bill at the desk and ask for its first reading.
This is literally like the last 3 minutes. So let's see.
Clerk will read the title of the bill for the first time.
S. 3168, a bill to appropriate funds for pay and allowances of federal employees and so forth and for other purposes.
Mr. President, I now ask for a second reading. In order to place the bill on the calendar under the provisions of Rule 14, I object to my own request.
Objections heard. The bill will be read for a second time in the next legislative day.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate completes its business today, it stand adjourned until 11 a.m. on Monday, November the 10th. Following the prayer and pledge, the general proceedings be approved today. The morning hour be deemed expired. The time for the two leaders be reserved for the use later in the day. And the Senate resume consideration of the motion to proceed to calendar number 168, H.R. 5371, post-cloture. Finally, that all time during recess, adjournment, morning business, and leader remarks count post-cloture on the motion to proceed.
Without objection, so ordered.
Mr. President, if there's no further business to come before the Senate, I ask that it stand adjourned under the previous order.
Senate stands adjourned until 11 a.m. tomorrow.
So, okay, so that just happened. Hold on, because I'm pulling up this article I want you guys to see. I mean, because obviously, thank God I didn't go live earlier because we would have been sitting here twiddling our thumbs for hours. Let's just be completely real. But they're saying that like I said, they will have a conversation tomorrow around 11 a.m. about the future of this shutdown. It looks like it's actually it looks like it's over, right? It looks like it will be over at some point tomorrow. But let me show this to you guys too. Breaking. Senate votes to end the longest government shutdown in history as gang of rogue Democrats cave and join GOP Republicans, which is crazy. So the longest shutdown in history, in U.S. history, could be finally be coming to an end. That's the wildest succession of words together. But anyway, could be finally be coming to an end after Senate Democrats joined Republican rivals to strike a late night deal to end the chaos. Some of y'all are probably doing cartwheels right now. I mean, for those of y'all who are furloughed and aren't getting paid, yeah, I'd be happy too. Okay? I'd be happy too, dagnabbit. I'd be happy too. Finally getting paid. I don't have to do DoorDash no more. I don't have to, do Uber or Lyft no more. I'd be happy too. But at the same time, there are other people that are not happy about this result at all. Republicans, 7 Democrats, and 1 Democrat-leaning independent came together on Sunday night in a tense 2-hour Senate vote to introduce a stopgap measure which would allow government funding to resume until late January. The breakthrough deal for the 40-day government impasse overcome its first major hurdle, 60 to 40 votes, but now must return to the House and eventually to President Donald Trump's desk for his signature before the shutdown can be actually lifted. So they still have to go through a whole bunch of hoops. It ain't over yet. They went and said, yes. The Senate basically said, yes, please push it forward. Let's go. Turn the lights back on in this government. Okay. My desk is covered in dust now. I haven't even seen the inside of my office in damn near over a month. Open the doors. Let's go. Right. But now it still has to go through the House and eventually has to go to Trump's desk for it to officially be 110% up and running again. All lights on, all pistons firing, y'all. And I mean the government. That's pretty wild. Okay? So the shutdown has left 42 million Americans with no access to their SNAP benefits, which we already know, forced airlines to cancel thousands of flights, and left more than 1 million federal workers without an income. Even before the tally had concluded, enough Democrats had voted in line with Republicans to ensure the measure passed. So the final vote came from Republican John Cornyn, who arrived uber late, but he still handed in his vote for his party, handed his party the win. Okay. So in all, 7 Democrats and 1 independent who caucuses with Democrats sided with Republicans. Now, I've already read some of these names, but some people are feeling some type of way. I mean, I saw a post, a tweet on, I saw a post on X where somebody was literally naming all of these Democrats, basically saying, shame on you, and naming them individually. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you, F you, all you guys, F you all. There's a lot of people feel okay that way. Real talk. All right. Even people in their own party that voted against this, that were like, no, we're not cool with this. This needs to be figured out now. But that's what happened. See, they weaponized the people. They weaponized the food. They weaponized, obviously, funding, money, work, the planes, all of that. They did. They weaponized all that. And then all of a sudden, now the Democrats are like, oh, but we need to take care of the people, which I understand that piece. But at the same time, it's kind of like, well, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens on Sunday. Or not Sunday, I'm sorry, in January. We'll see what happens in January. But real talk. Yeah, Lessa, we could basically say it's over. It's going to it has to, let me just repeat this again. All right. The Senate said yes to this, basically saying like, we agree on this deal. We will circle back and talk in January. But let's get the government and everything turned back on, because everything's screwed. And everything was screwed. Let's be real. But still, after them voting that still has to be passed into the House. And then it gets over to Trump. And obviously, Trump is going to sign on that. He's going to sign on that for sure. And I don't see the House saying F no, but you never know. It's the House. So we'll see what happens. Right? But it's a wrap. It's done. As far as I'm concerned, government will be turned back on as soon as Wednesday or Thursday. Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying. Hither. Okay? They're putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. Or as I said in my YouTube short, it's like they're putting basically duct tape on a leaky faucet and the house is flooding. The house is already flooding. And you're just trying to wrap duct tape on this very leaky faucet in hopes that's it's going to be done. It's going to fix everything, when it really isn't going to do a damn thing, because we'll be right back at square one all over again. This is literally them just trying to keep the holidays afloat for people. But then come January, we'll be back in this BS all over again. We're going to be back on this bus again, unless they're able to actually work out whatever they need to work out before January 30th. But they may not. Okay? And you ain't wrong. Duct tape is pretty damn amazing. It can do a lot of things. Okay, it's amazing. But when the house is already flooding, yeah, it's kind of pointless to try to put duct tape on a super leaky faucet that's causing the flood. That's basically what they're doing right here. So I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Okay, and you know what? Here it is. A lot of people have many, many jobs. Everybody has, like, at this point, if for you to pay your rent and do all the things that you want to do in your life and take care of your kids and keep food on the table and have enough to save and all that. Yeah, people have more than just one job, baby. More than just one job. Trust and believe. All right. But moving on. Will never agree to give any substantial money or any money to illegals that come into this country, and I think the Democrats understand that. The deal includes a clause guaranteeing federal employees who were fired during the shutdown would have their jobs reinstated, as well as an assurance that such measures would not take place in the future. Yeah, we'll see about that. Like I said, we might be back at this BS all over again February 1st. It also ensures food stamp funding through the end of the 2026 fiscal year. That is something I feel like Trump's going to have some hesitations about. I'm just going to be real. I think Trump wants nothing to do with any food benefits or food stamp funding or SNAP benefits. I think he wants that completely gone. I think he wants that completely eradicated. Okay? Real talk. I think he wants that eradicated, gone, y'all. He don't want to help nobody. And then again, he was also talking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna give everybody $2,000. Everybody, all the middle class and lower class, all y'all are gonna get $2,000. You realize that doesn't do a damn thing, right? Yes, I get people are sitting there doing cartwheels about stimmies. Remember during the lockdown? Woo! A stimmy, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't do anything. All it does is make you look left while they go right. It's a Kansas City hustle. It's a Kansas City shuffle. That's what I'm saying. That's all it is. Like, hey, look at all this money I give you, right? That doesn't change anything. It doesn't. You spend that $2,000, you're going to be back in the same situation. That's it. But again, everyone can be excited about $2,000 all you want, but it's not changing anything. Listen, the $1,500 that everybody got, that stimmy back then, okay? Did you do anything with it? And did it change your financial life afterwards? When you got that stimmy, did it change anything in your life? Or did you have to use it at that moment because you were in dire need of that money at that moment? But still, let's be real. Did that $1,500 really change everybody? Jess just said, that gone. Yeah, it's gone. Come on now. I know some people were, spent, they use that to buy like video games and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Some people invested and, use that money to invest in something. But at the same time, I mean, shoot, that was $1,500. Same thing with that $2,000. It's $2,000. It's going to be gone. As soon as you get it, it's going to be gone. Don't get me wrong. I get $2,000 extra dollars in anybody's pocket is always great. What's better than some money? More money. I get it. But at the same time, I just don't see how that is changing anything. And that doesn't change or take away the fact that we've been going through all this BS right now. All of this that will hopefully be over by this week, right? This very week, government shutdown will be over. But that still doesn't change the fact that we just went through all that BS. And all those people that were furloughed and they get that $2,000, you really think that they're going, ooh, I get to invest? No, they're using it to catch up on all the crap that they couldn't pay over the last 40 days. So again, like I said, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, some people's rent is more than $2,000. So you're taking that $2,000 and you're paying your rent. Just saying. Okay. So Democrats had previously voted 14 times against Republican continuing resolutions to reopen the government while negotiations were ongoing. Party leaders had up until this point, up until this point, refused to work with the GOP to reopen government unless they agreed to an extension of subsidies for health plans for the Affordable Care Act, which, of course, Trump has said, Obamacare is trash, right? The Affordable Care Act is trash. It needs to be eradicated. It needs to be done. We're not funding, that, or, giving those kinds of health benefits to illegal immigrants and all that, right? That's what he was saying. That's what the Republican Party is saying. But the Democrats are saying, no, that's not at all what we're talking about. This is not something that funds illegal immigrants. It funds the American people, or it helps the American people, right? But the Republicans have been throwing out that narrative and saying this is all the reason why everything's being shut down, because they want to give immigrants, illegal immigrants, health care. Despite holding a majority in Congress, Republicans only have 53 seats in the Senate, falling short of the 60 votes needed to pass a funding bill. Both parties have been uneasy about the shutdown's escalating consequences. They're eager to get the government running again before the situation worsens. It's bad. It's already bad. And I can tell Bernie Sanders, not a happy man right now. Okay? He not happy. For a fact, he's not happy about this. Okay? Of all people, he is probably pissed. Okay? So this is absolutely crazy. Let me see here, because obviously this is going to be a commercial. Oh, no. Never mind. There's not. I lied. I thought that there was a commercial.
The shutdown. We're getting very close on the shutdown. We'll never agree to give any substantial money or any money to really prisoners, illegals that come into our country. And I think the Democrats understand that. And it looks like we're getting close to the shutdown ending. You'll know very soon. Thank you very much.
He sounded kind of excited. To me, he did. Ooh, looks like we're getting shut down. Or looks like we're going to open back up. Shutdown might be over. They're finally, in a way, it seems like he, in my mind, it's like I'm finally getting what I wanted, right? They're finally going to lean on my side. We put enough pressure on those damn Democrats, and they finally bent a knee. Not all of them, though. Not all of them. But this is something that's very interesting. Hold on. Let me check a few more things. See if there's any updates here. 1 second, guys. And I know I got a couple super chats I'm going to grab here in a second. But this is very interesting. Now, mind you, I want to say this. They just voted. This does not mean, okay? This does not mean it's over yet. It's shut down until they pass. It has to pass to the House. It still has to pass. It has to get onto President Trump's desk. He has to give his John Hancock to reopen everything. He's got to look over all the agreements and all that stuff and make this bad boy keep moving. So it's not done yet. It's not officially done yet, but you could basically say it is done. But let's see. Let me share this first. This is Sanders and Schumer speaking out against the deal. Let's take a look.
Senator from Vermont.
I understand that the way the process has been developed, it is impossible to delay the votes that are going to take place. And if that were not the case, that is certainly what I would do, because I think it is important that the American people fully understand what is being voted on today. Everybody in America knows that our current healthcare system is broken, it is dysfunctional, it is cruel, it is by far the most expensive healthcare system in the world, and the only healthcare system of any major country that does not guarantee healthcare to all people as a human right, covering every man, woman, and child. We are unique in that respect. And yet tonight, what this Senate is about to do is make a horrific situation even worse. So let's be clear what this vote is about. If this vote succeeds, over 20 million Americans are going to see at least a doubling in their premiums in the Affordable Care Act. In my state of Vermont and throughout this country, for certain groups of people, it will be a tripling and a quadrupling of their premiums. There are people who will now be paying 50% of their limited incomes for health care. Does anybody in the world think that makes sense?
It doesn't.
If this resolution is passed tonight, we are on a pathway to throw 15 million Americans off of Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act. 15 million. Our job is to create universal health care, guarantee health care to every man, woman, and child, not throw 15 million people off the health care they have, low-income and working-class people. And my friends, know what you are voting on. Studies are out there that when you throw 15 million people off of health care, some 50,000 of our fellow Americans will die unnecessarily every single year. Anyone think that's funny? Something to laugh at? Something to just go past? I don't. 50,000 Americans die unnecessarily. Now, I know as part of this resolution that the majority leader is going to say, well, Democrats can put together their own bill, and it'll come to the floor here in the Senate for a vote. As everybody here knows, that is a totally meaningless gesture. You can get 100 votes here in the Senate. Won't mean anything because the House is not going to take it up, and the President of the United States certainly will not sign it. So, Mr. President, I hope that anybody here who is thinking of voting for this reconsiders, goes back home and talks to their constituents and asks them what it will mean if their health care premiums are doubled or tripled. Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, he's happy. I don't know what you're talking about. He's just talking about, a regular day, just a good day on a Sunday. No, he's pissed. He's pissed. Definitely pissed. Have mercy. Let's see what Chuck Schumer had to say.
The Democratic leader.
Mr. President, America is in the midst of a Republican-made health care crisis, worse than anything the American people have seen in decades. Republicans have spent the past 10 months dismantling the health care system, skyrocketing costs, and making every day harder for American families. Because of Republicans, Americans are going to suffer immensely as this health care crisis gets worse. Democrats have been fighting to end this crisis over and over again. Democrats have wanted to lower costs, but Republicans fought us every step of the way. We gave Republicans not one, not two, but 3 chances this year to extend the ACA premium tax credits. Republicans said no every time. On Friday, we offered Republicans a compromise, a proposal that would extend the ACA tax credits for a year and open up the government at the same time. They once again said no. And when they said no on our compromise, they showed that they are against any health care reform. Instead, they passed the biggest health care cuts in our nation's history just to give tax breaks to billionaires, and even then, they weren't satisfied with merely closing hospitals and community health clinics. They callously did nothing to deal with the looming crisis of ACA credits. Premiums will spike by thousands of dollars a month. Millions will lose insurance. Democrats have sounded the alarm. We have demanded for months to meet with the Republican leadership. But Republican leaders refuse to even discuss the issue, let alone negotiate it. We've asked them to meet in the summer and throughout the shutdown. To this day, Republicans still say no. We asked President Trump to step in and meet with us to deliver lower health care for Americans, and instead, Donald Trump has taken the American people hostage, from cutting off food aid to hungry families and vets and seniors and kids, to manufacturing flight cancellations, to cutting off home heating aid, while he builds a billion-dollar ballroom with gold-plated toilets. Therefore, I must vote no. This health care crisis is so severe, so urgent, so devastating for families back home that I cannot in good faith support this CR that fails to address the health care crisis. But let me be clear, however this vote turns out, this fight will and must continue. Democrats must fight because of millions of families will lose health care coverage. We must fight because children who are dying of cancer will not get health care coverage. We must fight because a senior citizen cannot afford to pay $25,000 a year just for health insurance. We must fight to keep millions from financial ruin. And make no mistake about it, the American people know who is inflicting this health care trauma on them: Donald Trump and the Republicans. Americans will remember a Republican intransigence every time they make a sky-high payment on health insurance. So we are going to fight legislatively, fight back home, fight in the courts, and bring this fight in the elections. Health care costs made a major impact on the 2025 election, and they will certainly have an even greater impact on the 2026 election. So in conclusion, the contrast between the two parties is crystal clear. Republicans are the party hell-bent on taking people's health care away, all to bow to the billionaire elite and special interests. Democrats are united as the party of lower health care costs and improving our health care system. We will not give up this fight. We will deliver for the American people. I yield the floor.
You know, what's weird is that it's crazy because what I want to know is, how did this actually happen? Because you got people like Schumer, you got Bernie Sanders, and there's a bunch of other senators that have said, no, we want nothing to do with opening the government. We want to keep it shut down, right? And then suddenly out of nowhere, this happens. So I'm wondering what actually happened. How did it change? What changed some, not all, but some of these Democrats' minds, right? What made them go, yeah, let's do it, right? Let's vote for this. It is a very interesting thing. At first it was, no, we're standing 10 toes down. There's no way you're going to stop us from doing what we're, from our goals. We want to stop these premiums from being, astronomical and completely, out of this world. And then this happens. So in my mind, I'm like, did the other Democrats not get the memo or something? Think about that. It's, yes, see Christina on Twitch. Yes, it's like it was one big fat ass waste of time. Think about that. 40 days of them being like, no, hell no, we're not going to allow this to happen. Hell no. These premiums will go out of this world. You will be putting a lot of people in danger, blah, blah, blah. Financially, physically, health-wise and all that stuff, right? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, now is the time. 40 days in, they cave. Some people would feel, I can see why there are people that are upset about this. I could see why people are angry, because it's crazy. It's wild. We won't back down, right? You hear some of these other, like Laura Trump or Lara Trump or Laura Trump being like, I won't back down. You know what I mean? And I know she's Republican, but I'm just saying, like, it's kind of like that's supposed to be the song the Democrats are singing too. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna back down. We're gonna stand firm in our stance with how healthcare should be. We must protect that. And then all of a sudden, bub kiss. 40 days and 40 nights. Okay? And they said, hey, we're done. We're done. So crazy, right? We got more. I want to hear Thune actually speak here too. Let's hear what he got to say. Oops.
Mr. President.
This was 2 hours ago.
Mr. President, after 40 long days, I'm hopeful that we can finally bring this shutdown to an end. And I don't need to go over all the reasons why it's imperative that we get the government open as soon as possible. From the truly precarious situation we are in with regard to air travel to the fact that our staffs have been working without pay for a full 40 days now, all of us, Republicans and Democrats who support this bill, know that the time to act is now. And so in just a few minutes, I will call up the vehicle for a clean continuing resolution packaged with 3 bipartisan year-long appropriations bills: agricultural appropriations, military construction, VA appropriations, and legislative branch appropriations. These bills will fund SNAP for the entire fiscal year. They will fund WIC for the entire fiscal year. And they will fund our veterans for the entire fiscal year. After 40 days of uncertainty, I'm profoundly glad to be able to announce that nutrition programs, our veterans, and other critical priorities will have their full-year funding. And my goal is to quickly move to other full-year appropriations bills. As I've said many times, I firmly believe that the way to fund the government is by passing appropriations bills through regular order, a process that gives senators from both parties the fullest chance to make their voices heard. Mr. President, I also want to mention health care. There's been a lot of talk over the last several weeks on both sides of the aisle about the health care crisis in this country. And I'm thankful to be able to say that we have senators, both Democrat and Republican, who are eager to get to work to address that crisis in a bipartisan way. These senators are not interested in political games. They're interested in finding real ways to address health care costs for American families. We also have a president who is willing to sit down and get to work on this issue. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what solutions might be brought forward. Regardless, as I have said for weeks to my Democrat friends, I will schedule a vote on their proposal, and I've committed to having that vote no later than the second week in December. Mr. President, again, I am optimistic that after almost 6 weeks of this shutdown, we'll finally be able to end it. I will call up that bill in a matter of minutes, and I look forward to passing the clean continuing resolution and appropriations bill package in the very near future. Now, Mr. President, I move to proceed to the motion to reconsider the cloture vote on October 16th on the motion to proceed to H.R. 5371.
The question's on the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Others no. The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. The motion is agreed to.
This is just crazy. This is crazy. Very, very interesting stuff, guys. Okay. Is it solely like did this compromise solely happen because of furloughed employees, SNAP benefits, etc.? Was this a moment of desperation? That's one thing I'm kind of hoping to hear at some point, like an explanation on why they suddenly now made a decision to do what they did. Because again, there's a lot of people, like I said, there's a lot of people that are like, no, hold it down. Do not budge. Okay? Do not budge. But at the same time, they definitely budged. So it's interesting, guys. Very interesting.
That would be drafted by the Democrats concerning health care and the ACA. That is a big step.
Hold on.
Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President.
Levels through the month of January.
This vote, the yeas are 60 and the nays are 40. 3/5 of the Senate duly chosen and sworn, having voted in the affirmative. The motion upon reconsideration is agreed to.
Hannah, we hear the the tepid late night applause there as the Senate passes this procedural vote. That last vote we were waiting for from Senator Cornyn, rounding out that 60 needed to pass here. Setting the stage for our viewers here, the reason we're tracking this so closely, this is the very first step in potentially ending this government shutdown, which has been so painful for millions upon millions of Americans. We interrupted you right in the middle of you explaining this, what the deal includes here. And you were saying this keeps the government open through January. This restores SNAP benefits for the tens of millions of Americans who've really been suffering here. It funds those key areas, the veterans programs, agriculture. We have military construction as well. Federal workers will finally be getting those paychecks, government services resuming. This is all of that. But Hannah, please help us understand there is one big thing missing for Democrats in this plan tonight. And it's really looking like it's starting to cause a rift in the party. Tell us more about what's not there.
Natasha,
Mind you, I just want to say this really quick. Mind you, there's already a huge rift going on in the Republican Party as well right now. Okay, there's a huge rift going on. And it's all because of it kind of all stems from Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. So you have that stuff going on in the Republican side of things right now. And now you have the Democrats possibly getting a rift and a civil war going on within the Democratic Party solely because of this. Okay, that's what could potentially happen here, which is insane.
absolutely is. That's those healthcare subsidies, and specifically the plan to extend them. They expire next month, the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Democrats had been pushing this whole time to try and extend them. That's what this whole shutdown really was about, was Democrats making that case. And you heard just minutes ago that soundbite from Senator Bernie Sanders, where he was saying he's really angry that that's not included in this proposal. And in fact, many of the Senate Democrats tonight feeling this way, most of them did not vote for this proposal because it did not include any sort of agreement to end the health care subsidies. Now, what there is an agreement from Majority Leader John Thune that he will bring that issue up for a vote, but that's certainly not a guarantee to actually extend the subsidies, to actually pass that when it does come up for a vote on the Senate floor, Natasha. So we're seeing a lot of Democrats pretty upset tonight that this is where things stand.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't put out there and it wasn't in the proposal for this voting, for them to make a decision, why did those other Democrats decide to vote against their own party to get the government open? Is it solely because they felt pressured about families starving and planes staying up in the air and federal workers being able to get paid and all that stuff? Was it solely because of that? Or is there something else going on here? Right? This is, like I said, one thing that I think would be very helpful to understand more. You just heard from this reporter here saying that it was not, the Affordable Care Act, was not added into this agreement. And that the Republicans are like, no, we'll talk about it. We'll bring it up in January. Okay, we'll bring it up in January for a vote. Don't worry, we'll do that in January. You have our guarantee. Now, here's the thing. That still doesn't change anything. It's still not ironclad. It's someone saying that. Oh yeah, we'll bring it up in January. No problem. We'll bring it up. We'll circle back to that conversation in January. It's not on paper. It's not part of the agreement. It's just them saying that. And we live in a time where Republicans can't trust the Democrats and the Democrats can't trust the Republicans. So how do we know that they're going to stay on their word? I'm just saying, this is interesting. This is just very interesting, y'all. Oh, my Lord. This is just very interesting. Sloppy, in my personal opinion. Sloppy. But let's continue. Let's hear a little bit. I think she's done, but let's hear a little bit more of this.
We're just starting to see that reaction come in. I'm Hannah Brandt at the Capitol with us through that breaking news, that passage of that preliminary vote on the Senate floor. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, like again, this is, boy. Okay, I mean, I'm interested to see what's going to happen here because, yikes. Hold on. I'm looking at more. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second before we play a little bit more. Let's see here.
I want to do, as I said, we were waiting for the latest comments because the government shutdown vote could be tonight. Let's go ahead and go out live right now to the government shutdown. I see somebody at the panel. Let's see what they had to say.
Reductions in the air traffic controller workforce. Unfortunately, both these concerns have materialized.
Yeah, Kimberly, I think the Dems are about to get played. I think that's literally what's happening here. Okay. I'm not sitting here saying like, oh, the damn MAGA, they're evil. No, I just think that they're about to get swindled. I think the Democrats are going, well, we gotta open up everything because, we got families and all that. And I get it. I get that concern. Trust me, I get that concern. But there's another part of me that's like, nah, do we really? Y'all don't trust them. They don't trust you. You think they can really trust you now? You think this is the right time to trust them right now? But okay. Do you, boo-boo, I guess. We'll see how it all turns out.
And what has become the longest government shutdown in our nation's history. With 2,300 cancellations and counting today, Sunday, we will go down as one of the worst days in air travel. I've never seen anything good come from a government shutdown. Lapses in federal funding have made it harder for families to access SNAP benefits. Head Start programs have been put on pause, and thousands of federal employees are unable to receive a paycheck. This dysfunction is damaging enough to our constituents and economy here at home, but it also sends a dangerous message to the watching world. It demonstrates to our allies that we are an unreliable partner, and it signals to our adversaries that we can't work together to meet even the most fundamental responsibilities of Congress. As this shutdown continues, I want to particularly focus on the impact of this lapse funding is having on the aviation industry. TSA agents and air traffic controllers have had to continue working while missing 2 paychecks. It's a stressful job and one that has grown increasingly more difficult throughout the year. Combine that with uncertainty on how to pay rent, put food on the table, and gas in your car. It is no surprise that we're seeing more and more controllers not show up to work. We are already facing a shortage of controllers, and now we are seeing more having to pick up second jobs to pay the bills, or seeing some quit entirely. Our inaction and our inability to gain consensus are deterring young people interested in futures such as air traffic controllers or other aviation professionals from pursuing those careers. The vulnerabilities in our aviation system has led Secretary Sean Duffy to begin reducing flights by 10% at 40 major airports. Airlines, businesses, and general aviation alike are cutting into their operations to make certain that airspace is as safe as possible. It is critical to know that these impacts are not lopsided on those high traffic areas. Small and medium hub airports, such as we have in Kansas, that connect to those 40 are experiencing this pain just as much. While this is a painful step, it is necessary for the safety of the traveling public, and I support Secretary Duffy's decisions. American Airlines indicated to me they've canceled more than 240 flights yesterday and delayed more than 1,000 flights, impacting more than 150,000 passengers. Airlines for America said that staffing shortages disrupted the flights of more than 4 million passengers from October 1 to November the 7th on their partner airlines. And that was before the mandatory reductions were put in place by the Department of Transportation. We can expect more cuts if we do not reopen the government. We saw how fragile our air system is, and it's the reason I highlight aviation and the consequences of the shutdown tonight. We saw how fragile our air system is earlier this year when a series of failures led to a mid-air collision on January the 29th, which claimed the lives of 67, including those of Kansas. That accident forced Congress and our nation to reckon with an issue that has plagued us for decades. Why have we not effectively modernized our airspace system? Since that crash, steps have been taken to train more controllers and improve the aviation system, including a $12.5 billion investment in modernizing our airspace. But those efforts are becoming much more difficult to accomplish during a shutdown. Unfortunately, the position of the aviation industry it finds itself in today cannot be easily solved, but we cannot even begin to solve it unless we reopen the government. Every day we remain shut down, the fragility of this system intensifies. Thanksgiving is only 18 days away. Americans are purchasing or would have purchased or already purchased tickets to be with their families. If we remain in a shutdown much longer, it will become increasingly difficult for airlines to deliver on their promises to their customers. The circumstances we are in cannot continue. We must reopen the government. I urge my colleagues to pass a clean continuing resolution to reopen government. I'm committed to working with my colleagues, to address the concerns they have and any issues brought forth by the shutdown. We must return to regular order, advance a clean CR and these 3 appropriation bills, and then consider further appropriations and these issues so that many of us care so deeply about. Our constituents and our nation depend upon us to do so.
I mean, obviously, they are a step closer to actually getting the government open back up again. I know that this has angered a lot of people, but I know this has also made a lot of people very happy because, again, there are a lot of people out here that could really use the SNAP benefits. There's a lot of people out here that haven't been paid for their jobs, okay, their federal jobs, and that they are struggling just as much, or if not worse, than some of these people that are really hoping and banking on the SNAP benefits. So again, this is something that's very interesting. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, okay, and all that. Let me get some of these super chats here, because I know it's 2 sides. Like, some people are like, dang, they should have held out. They should have fought this and held out just a little bit longer, right? And then there's the other side. Well, there are people that are starving that need that funding. There are literally families that are lining out outside food banks just so that they have bread, a can of soup for the night, for crying out loud. It's bad. It's really, really bad out there. Okay. And like I showed you guys, I did a video, went to a food bank the other day on Friday morning, and talked to the executive director over at one of my food banks in my neck of the woods. And it's just insane, okay, that they're that overwhelmed. Okay. There are a lot of people flooding to these food banks because they need the food bad. Okay. So again, I see both sides. I can definitely see both sides, right? But we'll see how this transpires, because this is step number 1. Step number 2, it has to go to the House. Then step number 3 has to land that agreement, and all that stuff has to get onto Trump's desk, and he has to give that final stamp of approval for the government to actually be turned back on. Now, to me, when we saw him come out and he's like, look, it looks like we're going to get back up open again. The government's going to get back open again. He looked like he was happy. He looked like he was excited about that possibility. So I don't think he's going to sit there and say no if and when it gets passed by the House, right? But let me get some of these super chats here really quick. Janobi, thank you so much. I think Johnson may hold this up due to the Arizona representative or the December 7th special election in Tennessee. She is the 216th vote. Yes, I forgot her name, but there's a representative that he has been holding out on swearing her in. Why? Because he knows exactly what's going to happen when she gets sworn in. She will be a Democrat vote, and there are things that Mike Johnson is trying really hard to protect. One of those things he's trying to protect are those damn files, them epi files. He doesn't want them out. He doesn't want them out at all. Don't know why he, of all people, wants it, squashed. But at the same time, this particular representative that still has not been sworn in, which is insane. She was supposed to be sworn in a while ago. When she gets sworn in, she can vote. And she will most likely vote for those Epstein files and all that stuff to come out, to be unearthed. And that's one of the main reasons why Mike Johnson has held back her getting sworn in, which is insane, by the way. Insane. And it's clearly dirty. It's clearly dirty. All right. That is some dirty work. Moving on. Mississippi Girl, thank you so much for the love. I really do appreciate it. They will be back 11 a.m. tomorrow. Yes, they will. Tomorrow morning, they will have more conversations, more things moving on. So, of course, we'll be keeping a very close watch on this whole thing. All right. Have 3 nephews in the military that haven't been paid in over a month. So glad for now. They set their differences aside. Plus, one nephew bought a house a month before shutdown. Geesh. And it's been hard on them. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of military families standing at food banks as well, right? Because they have no money. A lot of people are doing everything they can, scrounging for every dollar, penny that they can get their hands on. Okay, some people literally living off of ramen noodles and popcorn. I'm not kidding. Okay? It's crazy. It's crazy. Or they're not eating and they're letting their kids eat. That's really happening right now. Okay? That is not a life to live. Okay? So crazy. But moving on. Janobi, thank you so much. $1 trillion was added to the national debt in the past 71 days. Damn. I didn't even know that. That's crazy. That's crazy. Beautiful Messy Ball, thank you so much for the love. No matter what the government does, there are always going to be a lot of pissed. I think you're saying, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people pissed off. Okay. They can't make everyone happy. All right. The ideal is of socialist utopia is not real. We all must contribute. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, obviously there are certain things and certain funds, certain benefits, certain things that were made to help people, right? For them to shut those things off during a shutdown, when those things should be up and running to help those people, because it's like the regular people, us regular Joe Schmoes, right? We didn't do anything. We didn't do this. We didn't start the fire. You know what I'm saying? So why are we getting burned, right? If Democrats and Republicans are going after each other, okay, let them go after each other. And then figure it out so that America can go back to, back up and running again. But don't punish those that really need those certain benefits. Don't punish those. Don't punish the general public. That's just insane, right? Now, yes, I agree. Whether or not they continued the shutdown or if they turned everything back on, if the shutdown is officially over starting Wednesday, let's just say, I'm just guesstimating the date or the day, but say on Wednesday, they say, okay, everything's back up and running, or sooner. You never know. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people pissed off, but there would be still a lot of people pissed off that the government shut down too if it was still shut down, right? So in a way, I agree with what you're saying. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter because damned if you do, damned if you don't. But at the same time, I just want things to get turned back on so that people can get back to their lives. We can all have a decent holiday, maybe not the best Christmas or holiday season ever, but at least something, right? I would hope that we would be able to have something like that. But they do need to figure out some of these things that are going on, but not just tell people, yeah, we're going to table it for now and then go back to this all over again in January. It doesn't matter if we're walking into Christmas time or we're walking into Valentine's time. It doesn't matter. If the government shuts down and it shuts down so bad like it did this time, we're screwed no matter if it's in the middle of the summer or if it's in the middle of the winter. It doesn't matter. So hopefully they get this stuff figured out big time. Okay. Corey, thank you so much for being a member for the past 10 months. I appreciate it. What up, my good looking people? Yes. What up to all y'all? Good evening to everybody. And I appreciate you guys watching the show. It really does mean a lot. Please do me a favor, okay? Before, I continue, hit that like button down below, crush it, all right? Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Follow me on my platforms, please and thank you. And yeah, real quick, shameless plug, but pinned to the top of the chat, okay, and in the description box down below, I am doing a fundraiser, okay, a little GoFundMe. I got this live rig that I'm almost there. We in the 80s right now, which is amazing. All right. Trying to get to 100%. If you have a little bit, by all means, that'll be greatly appreciated. $5, $2, whatever. It would be amazing. Okay. It's something I'm looking to bring a new aspect, a new dynamic to the show. And it would really mean the world to me if, I could get the help to get there. Okay. So the GoFundMe link is pinned to the top of the chat. It's also in the description box down below. If you can contribute, that would be amazing. If not, I understand. It is okay. But I just wanted to point that out really quick. Rye the Guy, thank you so much for the love. So basically, this is putting a Band-Aid on a wound until January. Then it'll start all over again. Yep. Am I interpreting that correctly? Yes, you're interpreting that beautifully, Rye the Guy. Yes, Rye. Rye, this is exactly my issue. Damn, we gonna go through all this BS again? For real, though? All over again? I don't know if I'm ready for it. And I know for a fact none of y'all are ready for it either. See, this is the reason why, because if they go, okay, we're gonna table everything and we ain't gonna do anything until January, right? Do you realize that no one's going to have a Christmas because we're all going to be scared that we're going through this all over again? So everyone's going to hold tight to their money. Think about it for a second. Sure, we'll have a good Thanksgiving. I'm sure some of y'all will have a good Thanksgiving and everything, but there's going to be some of y'all that are going to be like, nah, we're going to hold tight to our money now. We're going to be super frugal. The frugality is going to be at an all-time high now. Why? Because people are going to be worried that they're going to be walking into this BS all over again. And then next thing you know, they're like, no, I'm not living off of ramen noodles and popcorn again. Are you out your damn mind? I'm not living off of dollar store hot dogs. Me and my kids living off that. Are you out your mind? You see what I'm saying? So people are going to be like, no. Fool me once, shame on you. Okay? Fool me twice. No. I ain't going to get fooled again. All right? So that's what's happening right now. All right? So this is pretty crazy. Mississippi Gal, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate it. Pascal, will you please do another Christmas special this year? Hope so. Love your singing. Yes, I am doing a Christmas special this year. That is actually happening. Yes. What it entails, you're going to have to find out. But yes, I am going to be doing another Christmas special for sure. Okay. Yes, I am. All right. Just so you know. But thank you for asking. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I want to be able to bring in the Christmas cheer even more than ever because of all this BS. Because I know everybody, doesn't matter if whenever Snap gets turned back on, people are still going to feel some type of way even after it. You see what I'm saying? There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, nope, we're going to have a very small Christmas this year, not like what they usually do. People, like I said, people are going to become extremely frugal. And it doesn't matter if they give us a $2,000 check or not, because honestly, that doesn't soften the blow. That doesn't change the hungry nights that these families have been going through, the embarrassing moments that they've probably had. These particular families have had to call people asking them for help, asking them for some sort of anything, calling up their local churches and stuff. You see what I'm saying? It's bad. Okay? It's bad. So people are going to be like, no, that's not happening again. So this Christmas, there's not going to be much Christmas presents this year, y'all. Okay? The gifts are going to be handmade, or is my presence is my present. Okay? That's what it's going to be. Our presence together is our present, So we'll see what happens here. Camille, thank you so much for the love. It's Durbin, Rosen, Cortez Masto, King, Kane, Fetterman, Sheehan, Hassan, okay, Chuck picked these to cave because they're not up for re-election. Oh, yeah, now I get it now, Camille. Thank you so much for explaining that. Now I get it. Now I get it. Damn. That is, that's shady as hell, if you really think about it. That's shady as hell. That's shady. That's pretty shady. MB, thank you so much for the love. Do you think this will actually pass in the House? I think it will. I think it will, but we're gonna find out. But I think it will, MB. I truly do. See, that's the question. What happens if it doesn't? We're just back to ground zero? We're back to square one all over again? I guess that's the case, right? So that'll be interesting to hear if it does pass in the House, which I think it will. I truly think it will, but we'll see. Mississippi girl, thank you so much for the love. My nephew went from Air Force to full-time National Guard. So they're not getting money. To person in chat. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of people that are just not making any money at all. Armed forces. But here's the thing. You got armed forces not getting paid, but you got ICE agents out here getting paid. Make that make sense. Yeah. ICE agents are getting paid. Let me just say that again. ICE agents have been getting fat checks. But the ones that are really out here protecting our country and fighting for our country ain't not seen one damn red cent in over 40 days. Now, here it is. I'm not saying that, like, how you see the ICE stuff, where you stand on that side of the whatever side of the fence you stand on, I don't care. I just want to point out something. ICE agents are getting paid. They making their monies. That's a fact. That's not feelings. That's facts. You got our military, nothing. You got people who control how these planes are flying around, which are hundreds of thousands of planes that are taking off and landing every single day, right? Every single mother-loving day. Thousands, if not millions, right? They're not getting paid. All these federal employees that help make this world go round or protect this world, or this country at least. Not one dumb cent. But ICE is getting paid. I'll tell you what, if ICE wasn't getting paid, you'd see a whole lot less ICE agents out there. I'll tell you what. Sorry, but that's facts. And this is the world that we live in right now. ICE getting them ducats. But the people that help protect and run our country, no money. They're standing in food lines, food bank lines. They're the ones actually going and doing Uber and DoorDash instead of actually doing their job, which is to help keep this country running, all pistons firing. Interesting. Now, I do think it's interesting, like, that last super chat one of the last super chats that I got that listed all of the senators that actually did vote Democrat, that did vote. All of them are not up for re-election, so they said, F it. They just said, man, you know what? Shoot, I'm not coming back. I'm not getting reelected, so F it. I'm done, bro. So, yeah, let's reopen this. And if they judge me, F it. I'm not running again. So I don't care. I'm not running for this spot no more. It's done. Ain't that insane? Am I the only one who sees that as insane a little bit? Yeah. No. Yeah. That's insane. That's insane. So, again, very interesting. Yeah, Scarlett, I'm telling you right now, people are going to be going, yo, this is going to be a small Christmas, y'all. This is going to be very small. Ain't no jewelry from Jarrett's this year, sweetheart. Okay? No, not every kiss begins with K. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you ain't going to see no Tiffany colored boxes underneath that tree, sweetheart. We are going to be doing it. We're going to be chill this year. We're going to give each other high fives and big old hugs. That's our Christmas. Seriously. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen, man. Whew, boy, oh boy. Okay. Shoot. Just Sidecar Tommy just said, what up, Sidecar? What's good, man? I just said, buy a garden instead of sweaters. Yeah. And add a green thumb while you're at it. Because some people just don't know a damn thing about growing nothing. But yeah. That'd be wild. For Christmas. Your Christmas gift. You're all excited, like, ooh, it is a big old box, like this big old package. Ooh, girl, what'd you get me? Rip it open. It's just a bag of dirt and some seeds. She's like, Merry Christmas, sweetie. I'm just getting us ready. You know? I also bought a hoe. It's out there too. He's like, what? You bought a hoe? Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't know you were into that freaky stuff. Is that my Christmas gift? You go out there and it's the garden tool. Damn. We gonna learn how to garden. Okay. Okay. I thought it was gonna be like Cindy from OF. You know what I'm saying? Just Cindy. But no. Okay. Damn. Just a hoe. Damn. I'm just saying, this is going to be a whole lot. Miss you too, Sidecar. Real talk. This is going to be a very, very interesting Christmas. I say, if you can, put that hoe to work. You feel, yeah, man, come on now. Okay? And your brother, Messi says, my brother loves growing plants. He would be thrilled. Yeah, he would. But some other people would be like, oh, damn, what is this? It's heavy. Is this a PlayStation 5? You know what I'm saying? Is there a PlayStation 5? I don't know. But you know what I mean. Okay. You're like, this is this is heavy. Damn, what is this? You're going to learn how to garden. Okay. Great. That okay. Damn. Okay, and the hoe is a garden tool. Okay, for real, a garden. Okay, that's a real garden tool. It's a real garden tool. Okay, I thought we were going to the strip club or something. But damn, all right, though. All right, learning. Okay, getting that green thumb. All right, Merry Christmas to you. So giving. Gardening. My miracle mama. Sorry for way off topic, but curious about your Pascalian thoughts on Marshawn Nealon's apparent S. Oh yeah. Would seem he had it made. Yeah. Uh, I just feel like, okay, real quick, that is a little bit of a left turn, but it's okay. I appreciate the super chat. Let's talk about it. It's really sad because we just don't. This is a perfect example of how you don't know what people are truly going through. They could be successful, they can have everything that they ever wanted and more, but still be unhappy and feel like they're nothing. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible experience. It's a terrible feeling, and it's a terrible fact that there are people out here that fight with depression. And like I said, you could be top of the world, driving the fastest cars, being around the most beautiful people, be blessed with so many different things, blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings on all kinds of things. Okay. Especially with Marshawn's situation, athletically gifted, shoot, man, making crazy money, doing what he did, finding fame and all that. But at the same time, for those that have all the things in the world, they feel like they have nothing. And I think that's really sad. There's also other things you can think about, like, okay, CTE, maybe the CTE was a part of it as well. We don't know. I don't know about that, but I did hear news about that news, and that's absolutely sad. But again, we've heard this kind of story a million times before. Look at someone like Robin Williams. Perfect example. Somebody who is absolutely successful, highly revered, absolutely adored by everyone. And suddenly out of nowhere, he does what he did, right? Accolades, one of the greatest actors and comedians out there, right? And then all of a sudden, he's gone. He does the unthinkable then too, right? Again, we just truly do not know what people are going through during their downtime. And sometimes the downtime is the worst time because they have time alone with their thoughts, and then they get sucked into that vortex of whatever is depressing them. And it's a downward spiral. This is why I say it's really important to reach out to your friends, reach out to the people that you love, check in on the ones that you care for, check in on your friends. That's very important. And that's the other thing too. It's like, because, comparison is the thief of joy. So like for me, I try to, I'm not on like, you don't see me doom scrolling through Instagram or through social medias, because with that, like you're constantly seeing like these photos of people and they're just, everybody's happy all the time, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And there are days that, not every day is sunshine and daffodils. You know what I mean? I'm human. I have bad days just like any other person, right? But for me, for sure, one thing I always have to remind myself is that these people are taking photos and they're picking the perfect photo. Sometimes they're face tuning these photos. They're editing all that crap to make it look even more perfect, and it's a perfect moment at this perfect time, and it's choreographed, and then they post it up there. That's also choreographed to make it seem like their life is so perfect. But in actuality, their life may be very sad and very lonely too, right? So I keep saying those things because, again, it's just a highlight reel a lot of times, a highlight reel of like everybody living their best life. But then when you actually meet that person or know that person, you're like, no, that actually was not how it went down. That was not a good day. You know what I'm saying? So for me, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you just never really truly know what a person's really going through, especially when you're just seeing the highlight reel, or especially when you're seeing that athlete on the field playing. You're not having a conversation with that person. You're just seeing him on TV, right? Doing what he does best. But then when they get home, they have all that time alone. And sometimes they're in a room filled with people and they still feel absolutely alone. It's just, like I said, it's just a reminder to everyone, okay? And even the ones that are listening right now that are feeling like maybe what Marshawn felt like, maybe you're not at that point, like at that level. I hope not. But if you ever felt like you are alone, you can call hotlines, you can call your friends. And I know some people don't feel like doing that because they feel like either, especially dudes, the fellas, it feels like it's emasculating to say that you're in your feelings. It's emasculating to say that you're lonely or saying that you're going through some bout of depression, right? But if you are around a good support group, they will bring you in arms wide open. Period. Sometimes it's not a hotline that you need to call. Sometimes you just need to call your friend. And it sounds weird, but it's like that trust fall thing, right? They're there. They'll catch you. You got to trust it, though. But at the same time, those hotlines do exist, okay? They most definitely do. So don't ever fear to call that number. But like I said, you just really don't know what people are going through until they actually tell you what they're going through. So again, I appreciate the question. All I can say is check in on your friends, check in on your family, check in on the ones that you love, because we are all going through something. We are all going through something. And it could be something really small, or it could be something really, really big. But if you don't ask the right question, or if you don't ask the questions, that information is never going to be given to you. So start talking. And that's the problem. We live in a time where we don't really talk to each other anymore. It's all about, it's all about clicks. It's all about the highlight reel. It's all about looking cool, instead of actually being real. Unfortunately, that's just the world that we live in, I kind of wish that there was like a social reset, not a social media, but a social reset, where we the kind of like, not like a government shutdown, hell to the no, but like just a full on social reset where like it doesn't matter about the likes. It doesn't really matter about the views. It's about people being people being real, and really having these conversations. Unfortunately, we live in a world right now where, at least, just speaking from being a guy, okay? Speaking from the guy's point of view, we have a lot of this crap out here, which is like this alpha male crap. And this is how you're supposed to be as an alpha male, right? The fast cars, the fast women, the fast money, smoking cigars, shades, 3-piece suits. That's how you're supposed to be. That's what men do, right? And that's a problem here too. Because at the end of the day, there is nothing wrong with you taking leadership, but you also being in touch with how you are feeling, with your emotions, how you are feeling mentally. There's nothing wrong with that. Even I think that is alpha as hell. When somebody is actually in tune with themselves, knows what's going on, what's good, what's bad, trying to make sure that they are fully 110% mind, body, and soul clean. But unfortunately, we have a lot of everyone's they're financially killing it, but they're killing their body because they're injecting themselves with all kinds of crazy stuff, or they're just consuming way too much stuff because the people that they're around, or they're sleeping with the wrong type of women, okay? Putting themselves at risk as well. But then their minds are all messed up because they keep on thinking that they're not enough. And unfortunately, we live in this time where we have all these podcasters and all that stuff that come out with this super machismo, over the top crap that these kids are listening to. And they instantly think that that's how it's supposed to be. And it's like, no, that's not. That's not real. That's not real. And then those kids are comparing themselves to the people that they're idolizing online and thinking that they'll never amount to that level. They'll never get to that top of that mountain, right? Or they try to use the same moves and it doesn't work because the advice that they're getting from these podcasts and from these social media, tycoons that know everything, spend $300 and I'll teach you how to be this, that, and the third. And then they go and try to put it out there in the real world and they're coming off like Boo Boo the Fool. And no one's rocking with them. That can get very lonely too. Because they're going, what the F? I'm listening to this stuff. I'm following it. I thought this is how you get girls. I thought this is how you get friends. I thought this is how you get the money. And it's not. So again, like I said, it's just, we just live in a very strange time. And for us to have these social media platforms that are supposed to be bringing us together, I feel like it's making us further apart more than ever. Everything's divisive. Everything's a debate. Everything's a problem. And it's all about the look rather than the person. It's crazy. It's crazy. But sorry, don't mean to go on that tangent, but we don't get to talk like that very often, right? Yeah, it is. You're right. You are not wrong. Okay. Ruthless. You are not wrong. Okay. It's nothing but fear. Yeah, that's true. Because everybody's too busy trying to look cool. Everybody's too busy trying to look good rather than just being themselves. Because that's the coolest part. I know that sounds cheesy. I'm not trying to sound cheesy, but that's the cool part. That's the cool part. Being yourself. Truly being yourself and not giving a damn. And I get it. There's other people that are just, people love to roast other people for letting them, because that person decides to be themselves, their true authentic self. Well, the person who's out there roasting those kinds of creators or people out there, then they must be pretty sad and pretty lonely themselves too. Pretty insecure individuals, if you ask me, I'm not mentioning anybody. Like, I'm not saying that I have somebody in mind specifically. I don't, but I've seen those things where you just got people who just are bullies online, In my mind, it's like, yeah, you must be pretty sad. Pretty sad, pretty alone, and pretty insecure for what you're doing. So again, it is what it is. We live, like I said, we live in a very interesting time. It would be awesome to see some sort of social reset, but at the same time, I think that there are certain elements that we are seeing, even in this Trump administration as well. There's energy, okay? And I know that sounds weird. I'm not trying to sit here and go like, let me pull out my crystals and stuff. No, I'm not trying to say that, but I'm just saying that there's certain energies that are out here that are, kind of brimming back up to the surface all over again. And, it's energy I could care less for, but it's here. And with all this stuff, the shutdown and all that, it's only bringing more negative energy. Like I said, I'm not trying to be all like, let me, bring out my tones or like the, that tonal freaking thing. I'm not saying that I'm about to do that. Okay. But on some real stuff, we do live in that kind of world, right now where things are just dark, negative. It's just negative. We've had it too. We've had it before, but it's back. Okay. It's back. Just is what it is, unfortunately. It's called a singing bowl. That's what it's called, Kimberly. Okay. And like I said, no disrespect to anybody. It's just, like I said, it's a vibe. Okay. It's a vibe. And that vibe is here. Will it be here for a while or will it change? I don't know. But it's here. Randy, thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Okay. The holidays are depressing for me. Everyone is gone. Well, we're here. We're here. You feel me? You got a whole family right here, girl. Come on now. Got a whole family right here. Not everybody's gone. We here. Okay. Let's not forget that. We are all here. All right. But yeah, guys, the energy needs to change. How that changes, I have no idea. Okay. I'm not sitting here saying that social media needs to collapse. Please don't collapse. This is where, this is what I do. Right. I'm very thankful for these platforms. Have mercy. But at the same time, just some things are just pretty insane, Check in on your friends. Call them up. Shoot, even a simple text message. You just don't know where you're going, or you just don't know what they're going through, okay? Until you know. So just give them a call. Holla at your people. Oh, and here's the other thing too. So maybe instead of doing a Thanksgiving where it's all on you, maybe do a potluck. Everyone brings in a dish. Then financially, it won't be so hard on you. I know nobody said that in the chat, but I was just thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that Thanksgiving is, it's going to be 2 seconds away, okay? It's a hop, skip, and a jump away. I don't know why I said that, but we're going to go with it. It's a hop, skip, and a jump away. All right? And then it's Christmas time, which is always stressful. Okay? How about don't make it so stressful and say, hey, I'm not doing all of it this year, financially speaking. You bring a dish, I bring a dish, somebody bring the turkey. We'll figure out who does that. And we all save money. And so it won't be so crazy financially on your pocket. And then Christmas time, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Because, if you got kids and, they expect a whole lot of gifts or something, you might have to just turn to them and say, well, Santa was really affected by the government shutdown. And so his elves have just got back into the factory. They didn't do anything for the last 40 days. So you're only going to get or be able to ask or wish from Santa about 1 or 2 gifts. And if you end up just getting 1, that's just the amount of time the elves had to build that 1 toy. Okay, sweet thing. Okay. That's literally what you got to do. I'm being real. You just got to tell them, like, yo, the elves were busy this year, you know? And for 40 days, the factory was shut down. That's all you got to say, you know? And then they should understand, you know? Potluck for Thanksgiving, so it saves you some money, and you're not slaving away in the kitchen all day, cooking everything for everything, okay? They show up with their stuff. Y'all have your thing. And I know all y'all have that one thing you got your fire at. Even you guys that you one-trick ponies out there. You know for a fact who I'm talking about. I'm pointing at you. Your one-trick pony having mother-loving ashes. But that dish is fire, though. That one dish is fire. And don't tell me scrambled eggs. Don't say that. I will smack you through the screen. I will smack you through the screen. I'm talking about that one dish you go, everybody says it's fire. You may not know how to cook, not one damn thing. But that one dish, every time, everybody like, damn. You're like a chef. And you're like, this is the only thing I cook. Everything else I just buy pre-made. And I throw it in the oven. And ding, ding, dinner's ready. You know what I'm saying? But you got that one dish. You just show up with that one dish. Just don't overlap. Don't double up. Don't be that person that shows up with the candied yams or the mother-loving, I don't know, collard greens, all right? And somebody else already brought in the collard. Don't you do that. Don't you dare do that. Okay? Make sure they know that you bringing in your collard greens. If it's that mac and cheese, it better not have no freaking raisins in that, girl. Good God. Evolved, you better have evolved that mac and cheese. You feel me? Okay? Don't you not damn near get any one freaking little thing of raisins in that mug. I'm about to have a stroke. You better not. Okay? You better not. You better not. You better not. We're going to have conversations. We're going to have conversations. Don't you dare. Or cranberries. I saw one time I saw somebody put cranberries in mac and cheese. Oh my God. They were high. They had to have been high. They had to have been. They had to have been. Because there's no way you can really jack up mac and cheese. I mean, there are ways you can jack it up. Let me tell you, there really is. I've had a lot of bad mac and cheese in my day. Okay, because I like mac and cheese just like any other person. Okay. But this person actually put cranberries in the thing, whole cranberries. Whole cranberries. Do you understand? Okay. Whole cranberries. All right. Okay. I'm done. Okay. Yeah. And it wasn't cooked through. Oh. I will never, ever. I literally look. Going through because sometimes you shouldn't be invited to everybody's house. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you should not be invited to everybody's house. Do you understand? Okay. That was real. Whole cranberries. They weren't even soft, too, by the way. So it's like as if she just threw them in. Festive. yes, cranberries. Like I was like, what? And I took a bite because I didn't expect it. And then I'm like, what is this? What is this? It's cranberries. Yeah, she was Caucasian. Sorry. She was Caucasian. I'm sorry. Somebody said, was she white? Yeah, she was from the Caucasus Mountains. It was made by somebody who was from the Caucasus Mountains. Yes. 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 So, but I had, okay. So here's the other thing. Because, went to another Thanksgiving. This is not the same day. I was too traumatized after the cranberries. But went to another one years later. Okay. Kind of like a potluck, which, by the way, like I said, some people, they got their dishes. This girl said her and it was mac and cheese again, was going to be fire. Okay. Why did that taste like sawdust? Why? Sawdust. Oh, and no seasoning whatsoever. Sawdust. She didn't even, she's like, girl. She said, I stubbed my toe with all that seasoning, girl. And I go, oh, what? Like I'm listening to her say that. And I'm like, oh, this is about to be fire. So I grabbed the thing, cut out my piece, put it on the plate. I'm sitting down, I'm eating my food. And, I get a little bit of ham. And then with the mac and cheese, I'm just kind of scooping it together. You know what I'm saying? You know how we like pair things together. You know what I mean? Because you think it's going to be fire. And then it was like, I don't know what happened. It's like I had a whole mouthful of sawdust in my mouth. Like I literally ate sand. Oh, with the very delicious ham, but sand. And she was black. She's like, watch out. This is going to make you want to slap your mama. I'm like, word? Word? No. No. So yeah, no. And she's standing right there. That's the bad part too. She was standing there. You know how it is. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Because we all have that dish we're very proud of, right? Like I make some fire collard greens. Fire. Like fire, okay? Fire. Collard greens. Tell you what, my collard greens, they'll make you question God. Yes, they're that good. Okay? My ish is fire. I don't need to stand around and see if it's good or not. People come to me and go, bruh, can you make a whole batch just for me? I don't need to look out. They look for me. I am sought after. You understand? My collard greens are that fire. They come to me. I don't have to do nothing. They're knocking on the door while I'm in the bathroom taking a deuce. You know what I mean? Yo, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't need anyone to, I don't need to stand there and go, it's good. No, take some with a little bit of that turkey. You know what I mean? That was extra rotisserie. You feel me? And that smoked turkey. Go ahead and take that with the collard greens with it because it came with it. You know what I'm saying? It's not too spicy. It's not too sweet, not too salty. How is it? Is it good? How is it in your mouth? I don't need to do that. Okay? I don't need to do that. No. They come to me. I'm telling you right now, I'm not kidding. They are willing to break boundaries. Yet no one's going to me in the bathroom. I was just joking, but mine is that fire. How fire is it, Pascal? That they would be willing to look for me. Who made the collard greens? And everyone stops and they go, Pascal. Okay? I don't play. I'm actually a very good cook. Little unknown fact, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I'm a really good cook. All right? So I don't need to do nothing. But it's that person that will sit there, you know, when they're very proud of their dish because it is their signature dish. And this girl literally is like, girl, because, you know, I'm standing right next to another person at the thing. And she's boasting about the mac and cheese, right? So I'm like, oh, word. Okay, bet. You know, I'm taking a nice, healthy portion because, you know, I love me some mac and cheese. And then she's standing there watching me. Oh, and the girl that was trying the mac and cheese too. Right there. She didn't like walk away, you know what I mean? Like running off and going to, you know, see who's wanting to play spades or nothing. Nope. No. She's standing right there, staring at both of us in the face. And it's this like, so yeah, what you think? It's fire, right? You know your girl killed that ish. You know that, right? You know that, right? We're taking a bite. I should have stopped. I should have stopped. But it was like mid, I'm about to, and I hear her go, The girl right next to me is taking a bite. Like that. And I'm like, why was that? I couldn't even chew it. I'm like, damn. Fire. I couldn't say anything because my mouth was so damn dry. Sand in my mouth. Do you understand? Do you understand? Good God. So, if you do that potluck idea, you better make sure that whatever you're cooking is fire. If you have to do like a test run and then have somebody else eat it before you bring that ish anywhere near a potluck Thanksgiving, do so. You could do a little tiny tester. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit. Give it to somebody that actually you can trust, that will actually tell you if it's trashed or not. Not somebody who's going to do like me, like, you know? When the entire time you're like, I want to die. It is the worst taste ever. Yeah. So like I said, potlucks are amazing. Just make sure you are doing a dish you are fire at. And if you have to do a test run, just to make sure, make a small amount, give it to somebody who's going to be honest. Like, that tastes just like birdseed. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Just do it before you go into that potluck, because right now, everybody hungry. Do you understand? People going to eat this Thanksgiving. Like, they're going to eat. And they're going to want to have a plate to take home with them. You understand? This is how bad it is this year. Oh, I'm not being funny. This is facts. People have been fasting since the shutdown. And they're fasting for this Thanksgiving now. They're ready to fill all the way up for Thanksgiving. So every single bite, every tasty morsel has got to be fire. So make sure when you step up and say, oh, yeah, my ish is fire, right? Make sure it really is. That's all I ask. Okay. Yeah, now I'm hungry too because I'm now thinking about sawdust. But in all seriousness, yeah, I'm hungry now too. Let me get some of these super chats here really quick. And by the way, reminder, okay, just a quick reminder. I do have a GoFundMe. It's pinned at the top of the chat right there. It's in the description box down below. We are steadily moving forward. I'm trying to get to like $2,200, right? $2,200, all right, for this rig. It's fire. It will be amazing. Being able to bring you guys along to events and interviewing people out on the street, especially with things that are going on in the world right now. This is the time that we need to be out here talking to the people and hearing what they got to say, right? So it is a dynamic that I really would love to bring into this platform. So please check it out. All right. Obviously, there's going to be protests going on and all that stuff. So I'm going to be using this for a lot of different things other than just like events, right? But it can be something really amazing. And I'm really looking forward to utilizing it. And we're this close, literally like this close, a couple $100 more bucks, and we're there. So if you can contribute, man, that'd be amazing. Okay, that would be fire. Just sorry, shameless plug. I know we're all struggling out here, but if you can contribute, that would really mean the world. Literally, we're literally a couple $100 away, which is amazing. So check it out if you can. Savvy, thank you so much. Thank you for your reporting. I've been listening to you for years. Oh, thank you so much. I'm sorry for the rant, guys. I'm sorry for the random left turn conversation, but sometimes you just gotta relax and just let it flow, right? Kenny Lattimore, thank you so much. Welcome to the family. And just like Kenny, please consider becoming a member by hitting that join button down below, okay? And Misty, thank you so much. Gifting you cranberries for your mac and cheese. I will never forget that. That was the worst mac and cheese I have ever had. And yes, I have had potato salad with raisins in it. I didn't make it, but it did exist. I've had it before. It is the worst thing I've ever tasted. It is nasty. And I don't like potato salad. So that was even worse, having that. You know what I'm saying? Don't do the raisins, man. Just don't do the mother-loving raisins, man. Oh, Lori, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you so, so very much. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. Just don't do it. I don't recommend that on anybody. She said cranberries. What were you thinking? You know what I'm saying? Some people should be locked up for that type of stuff. It's irresponsible. It should be illegal. You know what I'm saying? Cranberries. And she threw it in afterwards. Do you understand? She threw that ish in afterwards. She didn't cook it in the mac and cheese. She washed a good healthy handful of cranberries. She washed them. Thank God she washed them. And then she dumped it into the mac and cheese as she was, folding the cheese. You see what I'm saying? Like, it was like, what are you on? You know what I'm saying? It just puts hate in your heart, man. It puts hate in your heart. And it's the holidays. You're supposed to be thankful, not hateful. Okay? She said and she's just folding. I was just folding the cheese. I just decided just go crazy. Throwing in the cranberries. The hell is wrong with you? So they weren't even really like hot. So it was just like cold room temperature cranberries in hot mac and cheese. You see what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's like, like you just want to, I'm going to say a little prayer for you because, oh my God, it is what it is. You know what? It should bother everybody. Yes, I'm traumatized. Okay. Why would you put cranberries in mac and cheese? I just want to know where's the thought process? Like, sure, I've seen meat, like I've seen mac and cheese with like sausages. I've seen it with like chicken even. Real talk, I have. Okay. I've seen some wild stuff, but it makes sense because, it makes sense to a certain extent, right? But cranberries. The mac and cheese was fine outside of the cranberries, but it was the cranberries that just completely took it off. We went completely off the rails. You know what I'm saying? It's like, ooh, what? What the what is that? You know what I mean? Shoot. I mean, I have not seen that woman since that Thanksgiving. You understand? So I guess you could say, no, we ain't friends no more. Okay? But like I said, it wasn't a choice. It's just like, it's like a random Thanksgiving, Friendsgiving type thing. It was a Friendsgiving, You just get invited. Okay, cool. Go there, blah, blah, blah. And then you meet this girl that made the dish. You know what I'm saying? And then she's like, oh, yeah, blah, 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 kind of hippie-ish. I should have known that was coming. She was kind of hippie-ish. So I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. I guess. But yeah, since then, I have not seen that woman. It's been years. But I'll never forget that dish. I will never forget that dish. Oh my God. But guys, yeah, but here's the thing. It was hidden, Dusty. It was hidden. I'm sitting there going, okay, this looks good. And, honestly, at the top, there were like, you could tell, like, it looked like it had a little bit of like, coloring on the top of the dish of the mac and cheese. When in actuality, that was actually the cranberries that were kind of poking out a little bit, but I didn't see it at that time. I'm thinking it's just burnt spots. You know how it is, right? And no, it was cranberries. You know what I mean? So like I said, potluck dinner, have your friends or family, you know what I mean? However you do it, make them bring their own stuff, okay? Someone has the responsibility over the turkey, cooking the turkey or going somewhere and buying it already cooked. That's another idea as well, right? So financially, it's not so hard on you or anybody else. They get to sweat in the kitchen and stress out about making sure that their dish is good and not made out of raisins, okay? Why the bird spots so reddish? What's going on here? Yeah, it was kind of like that. Yeah, I got traumatized. It all started with the government shutdown, and we resorted to cranberries. Quite the story, right? Quite the conversation. Raisins and cranberries. You put them in like, I don't know, something that is not potato salad or mac and cheese. And here's the other thing too. If you're not good at making mac and cheese or any of these dishes, don't experiment. Don't let Thanksgiving be the first time you try it. Give it the old college try. Don't do that. Mother lover, don't do that. Okay? Okay? Don't just wing it. Next thing you know, you got people eating sawdust. All right? And you sitting there acting like that you just made the best mac and cheese in the history of mac and cheese. Just don't do that. Then also at the same time, take care of the food, like the meat. Make sure it's moist and not dry. You know for a fact Thanksgiving is destroyed if the turkey is just dry as hell. Okay? So make sure whoever ends up doing that is a good cook, and they're going to keep an eye on that damn bird. I'm just saying. Because you know for a fact everybody and their mama is super excited about that damn turkey. And if you done mucked it up, Thanksgiving's ruined. Okay? And also the ham. I know some people do ham as well. All right? Make sure that ham is on point. Just saying. Or everyone's drinking that night. That's all they're doing. Come on now. All right. But anyway, guys. Wow. Yeah. Turkey meat no. We got better things than that. We got better things to do than let that happen. Okay? Like I said. And here's the thing though. We all hungry out here now. All right? We all hungry. So we still going to eat it. We're just going to like dip it in a gallon of water before we consume. But like I said, don't do that. Don't you do that. All right? Don't you dare do that. Don't be dumb. Put that responsibility on somebody that knows exactly what the hell they're doing, and they make that turkey fire. Okay? Period. But guys, okay. It's time to get going though. Okay, I appreciate you guys sticking around with me. All right, but that's the show. Appreciate it. It's time to hop off. But I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow morning. We got a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot to conversate about. Will the shutdown officially be over for sure? We will see. Starting tomorrow around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, they'll be covering it and discussing it. So hopefully this will actually happen, and people can get back to their lives to a certain extent. All right. But stay tuned. I'll let you guys know, okay? But do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you're hitting that follow button, okay? Also, don't forget to subscribe here, okay? Go to my second and third channel, The Pascal Show Clips and Pascal Raw. Subscribe there. Hit that notification bell on all these platforms. Set all those bells to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random, all right? Like this late night Sunday show, very late night, but I appreciate you guys spending the time with me. It means the world. You could be doing anything else like sleeping right now, but you're spending the time with me, and that means everything to me. Excuse me. Everything to me. So make sure you hit that notification bell. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. I also have that GoFundMe. Go check it out when you can. If you can, that'll be greatly appreciated, your support. But I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow for sure, okay? Have a great one, guys. Stay away from cranberries and mac and cheese, and we'll be talking to you very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.